the line between intense loving and love bombing starts to blur for me, especially as a fire sign, as somebody who is, the love they burn for inside. Like someone admitting to being in love with you after 3 days of speaking to you. Beloved, let's be real. Did you fall in love with who you are as a person, as a concept? Did you not have to learn to love yourself? Did it take you 3 days? Exactly. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be on a lower vibe, a low energy. I'm going to take this off at some point because, I don't know, it's making me feel like the bridge of my nose is not taking it off. Anyway, hi guys, what's good, what's happening? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Unpack with Paz. And today we're just on a low vibe, low energy, but I do have something that I feel we should talk about and just unpack. And it is a topic that I've spoken about. It is not just even one topic. It's a topic that encompasses two things. And it will be me trying to join two ideologies that I've spoken about, not ideas, but occurrences that I've spoken about, especially on TikTok before. I'll put both videos that I did make in regards to this, but the first one that I did make, which was about breadcrumbing, which is one of the topics I'll be talking about, I was low-key but not so detailed, way more than I was in the one about love bombing. And it's because, to be very honest, a lot of that is due to how I see both scenarios. However, in this video, we will be talking about both of them and how they are two sides of the same coin. That is love bombing and breadcrumbing. We're going to start with the actual definition of what love bombing is and what breadcrumbing is. I'm going to be reading out the definition, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I think is the definition, my definition of love bombing and breadcrumbing. So we're starting off with breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is a form of emotional manipulation where someone gives you just enough attention or affection to keep you hooked, but without any real intention of fully committing to a relationship. Whereas love bombing is the psychological and emotional manipulation tactic where someone overwhelms a person with excessive affection, flattery, and gifts early in a relationship to gain control. Let's hold on to that gifts part. That part is very crucial. However, my definition of what love bombing and breadcrumbing is basically a situation where a person lacks the bravery to fully come forward with whatever it is that they expect from a person, be it physicality, emotional connection, or whatever, or money, because there are people who have manipulated and, swindled people out of their money using love and affection. So to me, breadcrumbing or love bombing is the lack of bravery to simply come forward with whatever it is you want from a person, but instead deciding to manipulate that out of them regardless of how they will feel after you have gotten what it is that you want. And I find that a lot of people have experienced either breadcrumbing or love bombing in different scenarios, but they require the same energy. They require affection, it's giving in different levels. They require time, they require attention, and they are all towards a particular aim of getting something. Let's break down what breadcrumbing could look like. Breadcrumbing could start off like love bombing, to be very honest. Imagine a person comes to you and they're talking about, oh, I want to spend my time with you. They're hanging out with you. Today they're asking to see you. The next day they're asking to see you, and you're giving into all this time because they're making time and effort for you, right? And then when it has gotten to the point of probably convincing you to get either physical with them or just even emotionally connected to them, because what people don't understand is that the more time you spend with people speaking to a particular person, the more time you get emotionally attached to that person. Time and contact breeds connection, and it's something that people don't like to admit, or rather would just keep acting as if they can handle it. But the more time you keep talking to a person, spending time with a person, you are forming a connection with that person. And when it starts to shift, this is where the breadcrumbing comes in, because all of a sudden the energy is different. The time that they had to spend with you all of a sudden is taken by this work that they did have before but could have made time for. The affection is giving in moderation. Sometimes it could be days that they would even reply your message. Sometimes you could be seeking for the affection and they won't even want to give it to you. They might just even be talking to you crassly, and then the other time they'll come again. Sometimes it goes beyond just manipulation. It becomes abuse, especially emotional abuse to a particular point, because when you neglect a person on purpose because of the aim of making a situation where they are either connected to you and they can't let you go, for a lack of better words, or they give you what exactly it is you want, which sometimes is just attention, A lot of the times people just breadcrumb because they want your attention, but they don't want to fully commit, knowing fully well that you are looking for someone who is ready to fully commit. They will rather swindle that affection that you want to give to a partner that is willing to commit long term out of you. And then when they feel like they've gotten their feel of it, they start to breadcrumb you. And I feel like a version of breadcrumbing that a lot of people don't talk about is the breadcrumbing that is done so that you break up with them instead, so that they don't look like the bad person. Because one thing, which is the point of my definition, is that a lot of manipulation is done by cowards, people who aren't brave enough to do whatever it is that they want to do or ask for whatever it is that they want. And it only makes sense that they would also not have the bravery to leave this situation that they've gotten themselves into. That is, whatever it is that they have with you, be a situationship, be a relationship, be a sexual relationship, whatever it is. They usually don't have the mind to be the ones to break it off. So they breadcrumb you into frustration so that you are the one that is like, you know what, you're no longer giving me what it is that you initially were giving me. I'm no longer getting what it is I want from this relationship, so I'm gonna just go. And it will look like, oh yeah, that was your decision, but it was their plan all along. When it comes to love bombing is the direct opposite of breadcrumbing, in the sense that it is done in excess. In breadcrumbing, there is a lot of moderation, there's a lot of watching, measuring, trying to see how much you give, just enough, but not enough to make you feel safe, just enough to keep you coming back. Sometimes, yeah, and maybe this is something I should leave to discuss after I break down love bombing as a concept to me. But sometimes people just do these things for fun. I really want us to get to that point of understanding that sometimes people breadcrumb or love bomb out of pure fun. Who is in having this fun? Them, maybe. It's psychotic, I would say, but yeah. So love bombing is something that someone will come, give you a lot of love, affection, give you a lot of attention, a lot of time, money, gifts, only to probably ghost you. Most times, love bombing ends in ghosting. A lot of cases that I've heard about, I don't think I've ever experienced love bombing, to be very honest. If I'm being very honest, it got to a point where the line between intense loving and love bombing starts to blur for me, especially as a fire sign, as somebody who is, the love they burn for inside. I'm used to people like finding me attractive immediately and wanting to immediately always spend time with me, being there, I'm used to it. And they're like, oh, that's you, that's somebody love bombing you. It doesn't really feel like love bombing, because if I was not me, I would be that way to me too. But there are very obvious cases of somebody being manipulative, like someone admitting to being in love with you after 3 days of speaking to you. Beloved, let's be real. You be real with yourself. Did you fall in love with who you are as a person, as a concept? But let's get back to loving yourself initially. Did you not have to learn to love yourself? As a person, we all learn to love ourselves. Nobody came out the womb loving themselves. Some people were raised in environments where it made it easier for them to learn to love themselves. So it doesn't even look like they struggled with that. But we all learn to love ourselves. So did it take you 3 days? Exactly. So why would somebody come to you with that energy and you're like, yeah? That's why when somebody moves to me and they're like, oh, I love you, and in a couple of days, I get pissed, because that's to me, self, is even amateur manipulation style. You need to do better. You need to actually do better, because I'm not trying to say that there should be a timeline for everything, but it gets to a point where you're just like, you're doing too much. Almost like you are trying to get something and it's suspicious. And then there are just people who want to do that to you and disappear later on. It's just how it is, So explaining the concept of love bombing and explaining the concept of breadcrumbing, and seeing that there are two different types of manipulative tactics that could be used to harness the same thing or different things from a particular person, I believe that with this point of mine, you would agree that they are two sides of the same coin. And so whenever I've made all these videos, especially online on TikTok, a lot of question that comes in the comment section is, oh, how can I quickly clock that I'm being manipulated in either of these ways? And to be very honest, there's no way. There is no particular way you can always clock, because even as a tactic is done differently by different people. However, I would say this one thing. You should always listen to your intuition. Sometimes your nervous system already knows before you see it, before your brain. Like, you can feel it in your body when somebody is moving crazy with you, and you should act accordingly. And when it comes to especially breadcrumbing, another extra advice would be, know the difference between begging and asking, and why you should not even be doing either of those at different particular situations. There are times when you should ask for some particular things because you can ask. They won't right off the bat want to give you that, but you should ask. But if you have to ask for or beg for consideration, love, affection, presence, the time, the things that they freely gave to you without any stress before they started disappearing slowly on you, then maybe you should start loving yourself more and ignore them or let them go. The thing with breadcrumbing and why as a concept makes no sense to me is because it pisses me off. I believe that people treat people a lot, especially about how they treat themselves. People treat people a lot based off of how they feel about themselves. That's one. Two, people treat people based off of how they feel about them. So if you are breadcrumbing me, it's two things. It's either you don't like me, not that you even stopped liking me, you don't like me and you don't know how to tell me, and I would disappear. I might tell you that I'm feeling it first, but like I would disappear. Or you don't like yourself and that's just you treating me like that, and I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't like themselves. You get it? Just like it's weird. So like when people sit in that kind of situation and they are sad and they're like, oh, my partner doesn't give me this, doesn't give me that, I'm just like, is that how you treat yourself? Because you would only permit nonsense if you permit nonsense from yourself. So yeah. Those are just my 2 cents on how you can probably clock breadcrumbing or love bombing. Let me know what you guys think about both concepts in the comment section. Did I convince you that yes, they are of both sides? I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next session. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.